A Christmas Comeback is brought to you by Case IH. Case IH equipment is designed, engineered, and built by farmers. See their stories at builtbyfarmers.com.
From the rubble rose some touching acts of kindness.
And two specific efforts were carried out by teenagers who saw no city limits or competition that day. Sitting in her home 2 hours from Mayfield, Mary Schock learned about the turmoil just like every other teenager that night.
I saw it on that news, and I sat up all night watching. It was happening here, but not as bad. So I was up all night, with the storms.
But the next morning, she had a calling to help.
I knew that I had the resources. I knew that nobody else could really drive. The semi trucks, were turned over. The roads were blocked, but the runway is only 3,000 feet, and all they had to do was clear it, and I could be there with so much supplies.
But this wasn't a flight she did every day. At 16 years old, this would be Schock's first solo flight.
I was trying to get my hours. I was trying to fly solo, but I'd never been on a mission.
Within 30 minutes, she had the approval to make the trip, and that's when Schock got to work.
We put out there, we're opening the doors to the church and a local community, a few counties over, and we're opening the doors to the airport. And anybody that wants to bring something, you just bring it, you drop it off.
From baby formula and diapers to trash bags, she jetted off with the necessities in tow.
We pulled over there, it was within 5 feet. We unloaded everything, and from there, people from the city came out to the airport and dispersed it to where it needed to go.
But she knew her work still wasn't done.
Then we eventually took some Christmas presents more towards the end of the month, towards Christmas.
Last December, Schock put a desire to help into action.
Those people didn't deserve that, and I knew I had to do something.
And as Compassion took flight that day, that same month, a town nearly 5 hours from Mayfield refused to let Mayfield stand in solitude.
Last year, on November 26th, this team, Beechwood High School of Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, we met them in a semifinal game, and we did not come out the victor.
And just 2 weeks after that game, Beechwood marched into Mayfield with help.
Here came people from Beechwood, their football team, Fort Mitchell people. They brought money, they brought supplies, they brought their hearts.
From foes on the field to friends on that December day.
They brought their help. That's a pretty cool thing.
What Onan describes as a football school here in Mayfield, the Mayfield Cardinals fought the entire season this year to bring joy to the community. And that's exactly what they did.
We have the 4th best winning record in the whole United States. That's a wow. That's a wow for our little school.
They made it to the Class 2A state championship this month, and you'll never guess whom the Mayfield Cardinals met once again. That's right, Beechwood, with the two mayors documenting the emotional occasion.
He and I are going to meet on the field, and we have a presentation to give to the city of Fort Mitchell and the high school of Beechwood. This is a very special event.
What these teenagers learned this year can't be taught in a classroom or coached on a football field. Life lessons on how to be selfless servants, even if it's hundreds of miles away.
You're not sitting them down and saying, this is how you treat people. They are witnessing it. They are witnessing it by doing it and by seeing how we help each other, and it's from the heart.
Congratulations to the Cardinals on a successful season and to the entire community of Mayfield that proved you can weather any storm through faith and determination.
And while there's a lot left to be done, it was an honor to revisit Mayfield, Kentucky a year later and share their stories and their road to recovery. And a special thank you to Case IH. And a thank you to all of you for joining us for this special edition, A Christmas Comeback.